The following is a Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to the Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. It's the Powercat Podcast. And now, let's go to the Spirit Street Studios. Here's your host, Go Powercat publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
And here we go with another edition of the Powercat Podcast. The boys are back from extended trip to Texas. It was like a mandate.
We did some
Brett Regan and I had a hell of a one to Texas.
We did some mandates to Top Golf.
Did Top Golf, ate a mediocre burger at my recommendation.
Yeah. I would say it was good. It
It's
just
kind
wasn't.
of an environment
You built
thing.
it up a little bit.
I didn't build it up. I just said I enjoy going there.
You built it up.
I think it's a cool place.
I would agree. It's probably a nice place to drink.
It's like if So Long Saloon and Annie Mae's Parlor had sex and had a bar baby.
You only say it's like so long because there's some skeletons on the wall. That's the only thing so long.
It's a
about
little
it.
more-
And it's a burger place.
It's a little more hellish than Annie Mae's, I would say.
It's pretty spooky, man.
I mean, they've got a big old 666 sign on the wall. I mean, it's like, come on.
Did they really?
Yeah, like a state highway.
The bathroom's all
666.
graffitied. Like,
Yeah, I think they're taking it even farther since I've been there. I've been there a couple of years. What's the name of it? Casino del Camino?
Casino El Camino.
El
Yeah.
Camino. Very good. There it is. It's on 6th Street if you want a atmosphere burger.
Or if you want to
Welcome back. You guys,
Thanks.
you brought back a couple wins with you, like you put it in your
What
pocket.
the team did. Let's specify that.
I think you contributed by kicking ass with coverage.
Oh, fair enough.
Your coverage was very good. If you're not a subscriber to GoPowercat.com, you're missing out on a lot of great content. And if you're not, there's a lot of free content. It's a different idea than what's been done around these parts lately. So we put out a lot of free content, but there's also some incredible VIP subscription content that go together like hand and glove. Not the OJ version, mind you, just a regular hand and glove. But it is killer content. So we're just going to go right there with that metaphor.
Wow.
Right there. This is the Powercat Podcast, brought to you by GoPowercat.com and sponsored by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Get into the Fridge. You're coming to town Saturday. I know you are. It's a huge game.
12,528 R.
You know, it's going to be like 15 degrees or something with snow on the ground. I have one word of advice to serious K-State fans. Tailgate. Stop by the Fridge, get your alcohol, and tailgate to get ready for that 3 p.m. contest. What's Iowa State ranked?
Put me on the spot.
That's-
20-something.
That's fine. That's good. 20-something Iowa State and teen-something Kansas State. Boy, we're full of information right there in Bramlett's Coliseum. Guys, as big a game in Bramlett's that doesn't have KU in front of it in a long time. Agreed?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
you get to 10-2 in the conference with 6 to go and a 2-game lead in the loss column.
I know.
You are,
Yeah, we'll probably get into it, but I think they get a trophy if they win on Saturday.
I would agree. They'd have to absolutely collapse, especially since the next 2 games are at West Virginia and playing host to Oklahoma State. Those are ripe for the picking there, Zach. I didn't say who we are. Tim Fitzgerald, Bradley Gates, Zach Carlson.
Oh, that's the okay.
Oh,
Like we don't do this every week.
Well,
I forgot the lower third.
we have new listeners all the time. They
Fair
come for one session and go, wow, that was weird. That host guy's always off topic.
Fair enough.
Which that alone was off topic.
Meta.
Ironic. Here we go. It's your questions from Wabash Station. Our first half of the podcast is sponsored by Tanner's. You know, maybe you're coming. The game's sold out, basically. And you can't get a ticket, but you want to be in town for the game. Go to Tanner's. Get a bar stool, sit down and watch, get a great drink. All their alcohol's from the fridge. Why don't you get your alcohol from the same place? Questions from Wabash Station. Zach Carlson.
From AZCat05, how big of an impact is Cardiajada's injury to this team's chances to win the Big 12?
You just lost your best reserve.
And a guy that enables you to swing different ways. You can stay big with him out there, or you can go small with him out there. You can move Stokes off the ball because he can handle the point guard. You can do a lot of things with Cardi, and now he's gone, and it limits what you can do. And obviously, Riley, it waters down when you have to go to your bench. I think you're going to see the starters play more minutes.
Yeah, and the problem with that is, I mean, we all know Kamal Stokes is not, and this isn't a shot at him, I don't mean it, but Kamal Stokes is not always perfect. He has a lot of games where he struggles, and he needs someone to come in and relieve him, and I don't think you're necessarily comfortable with Mike McGurl doing that. At times, he can provide a nice spark, but I don't think he's your guy.
Yeah, Mike's an off guard, really. He's not a, so
yeah, that too.
You're talking Sean Neal Williams at that point, and
he's just so young.
He's so young. But you know what he reminds me of at this point of the season? He reminds me of Mike McGurl last year. You saw him do some weird stuff, and you're like, he's, I don't know. And then the postseason, boom, he brought it all together. So maybe that's what the future holds for Sean Neal Williams. We will see how that plays out. But this injury hurts.
It sucks.
No pun intended.
From Cheeseburger Satan, can this team continue to play at this level with Jada out?
I mean, yeah. Look, Cardi was...
They did it last year without Dean. They can do it without
Exactly. And Cardi was big, no doubt. Like, don't make a mistake about it. But Cardi's not why this team's, 19-5 and 9-2. I mean, he's a contributing factor, no doubt. But I don't look at Cardi-Jada and say, man, if they didn't have him, they probably wouldn't be 9-2. I look at a guy like Barry Brown, Dean Wade, Xavier Sneed. If they didn't have him, they probably wouldn't be 9-2. I think they would be maybe a game or two worse, but I really don't think he's a guy that changes the dynamic of the team, that changes everything about it. It's just it's a bump in the road that you have to overcome. And I know it sucks, and I know that if you don't win the Big 12, you can probably point to that as that's the reason why. But every team goes through this. Baylor lost 2 players. KU is down God knows how many at this point. I mean, every team in college basketball has injuries. They have suspensions, whatever. It's just it's a road bump you have to overcome. And if you are a Big 12 champion team, if you are a Sweet 16 caliber team, you will overcome it. And I believe that they will.
From Canelio, who in the thread, I think, said that it is Neelio. Someone asked him, so I don't know if we're going to change it.
So it's a silent K?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay, we've been doing this for a year and a half. I mean, I don't think...
How are we supposed to know it's a silent K? Okay, we're just going to call him Jada from now on.
I feel at some point that he said Sean Neal Williams, and Mike McGurl will be forced to step up in crunch time and produce. Do you feel they're ready?
McGurl's shown he can do it. He gets a little sloppy with the ball at times, but he had a nice assist for a dunk to Dean down in Texas. He's got some game, but he's not a true point guard. He's better in that 2 spot or sliding down into the 3 spot to cover a bigger guy because he does that a lot.
Surprisingly well.
Against Kentucky, he was covering the 5 at the end of the game.
That was ridiculous.
I mean, he's out there. It was comical, but he did a good job. He's strong. He's physical. He's deceivingly big, and so he can do a lot of things, but he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to be more reliable as a scorer.
Is there an answer between yes and no for Sean Neal Williams? Because I don't think he's ready, but I don't think he's so not ready that he can't be impactful, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not ready to say that he isn't going to do things because I've seen flashes of him play well. But I also am not ready to put my full trust in him. So I'm kind of like in the middle on Sean. I think he's talented. I think he can. It's just a question of will. And for example, if he does it on Saturday, I wouldn't anticipate him doing it at West Virginia. Right. He's a freshman. I don't think he's going to string together games like that.
From Meow Power, is defense Sean Neal Williams' biggest liability right now?
I think for the way this team plays defense, any freshman's going to struggle with it. It's such a team concept. It's not just about handling the guy in front of you. Those rotations, when they're in system, are amazing. And that's almost like muscle memory. You just kind of have to do it instinctively. You can't be thinking about it. If you're thinking about it, you're too late on your rotation. So that is a problem. I think he still makes some bad mistakes with where to put the ball. And he did a runner in the lane that was atrocious. I mean, he had no chance of scoring on that thing. So some of those split-second decisions he struggles with, but that's the big concern for next year. Is that the heart and soul of this program, the defense? defense will drop off with a lot of new guys and so many guys leaving. The rotations just won't be as crisp.
From I Like Pickles Cat, do we mostly have the zone figured out at this point?
No. They've shown flashes that they can beat the zone.
But look, it's all mental. It really is mental. They do know what they need to do. They just don't do it at times. It's crazy to watch. It's like, get inside the zone now. You got to get the ball in there, break it down, whether it's on the dribble or through passing. You can't just throw it around the outside of the zone and take a shot. That doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for many teams in the country.
And I think the perfect example is Baylor. That Baylor game, if you watch the first 3 minutes, they had 3 attempts to get the ball inside. The first 2, they didn't even look, but, I could see it, so I know it was there. They didn't even look there. The 3rd attempt, they tried to go down low to Stockard, and it went right off of his fingertips out of bounds. The 4th attempt, they finally flashed D into the high post. He caught the ball, turned around. You know what he did, Fitz? Took a jump shot, made it. Man.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Almost like that's what we've been saying for quite some time. Almost.
It's pretty basic.
New one of the podcast, BD Nay? Bidneh? I don't really know.
Is it BDNEH?
NIEH.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm blanking right now. It's been a long day.
When is Bruce going to go off on the refs and earn a technical?
Never.
Is that his style? I think there are times when he needs to do it, but K-State's in a lot of close games. You don't want to give up a couple points at the free throw line.
And I get that. I want to see him do it, though. Like, I think... I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. I don't think referees respect Bruce enough to give him the calls, I think they think he's a good coach, and if his team can outwork and outplay the other team, then they're going to get the win. But they don't have that, you call it a fear factor, like you have with Bill Self, Bob Huggins. Bruce is never going to work a ref for a call.
Let's be honest. Bill Self worked Jerry Pollard in that K-State game and got 3 straight calls out of him. It works. It shouldn't. Those guys should be better than that, But it works, and I'd like to see Bruce try it a little bit more. But then again, he doesn't have that. I'm not making fun of his voice, but he doesn't carry authority with his voice, and sometimes on the sideline, it's really hard to understand. So I'm not sure. I would like to, if it really goes off the rails at some point, I would like to see him get lit up and pull the Hoosiers and Gene Hackman and turn it over to, what was his name, Shooter? What was his assistant coach's name?
Yeah, wasn't it Shooter?
I don't remember.
Turn around and hand it to Chris and say, take it home.
I really hope that
Dad's gonna
the
yell
refs
at me.
not understanding what Bruce said is an excuse that they did not give him a technical. Like, well, I would have teed him up, but I didn't understand what he was saying.
What he said.
Don't know. From Wizard6294, for some reason it doesn't really feel like K-State has a 2-game lead in the Big 12 Conference, but we are playing our best regular season basketball we have played since I walked onto campus in 2015. Should I drop the K-State still has too many games to screw this up attitude and buy in?
Number one, it doesn't feel like they have the 2-game lead. Or is it 1.5? I can't tell.
It's 1.5. It's 2 in the loss column.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't feel like that, and I'm going to play kind of a fan card here. Nobody's talking about them. Iowa State's the hot ticket right now for some reason.
Bizarre.
I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. Nobody's giving this team any respect. And that's why it doesn't feel like they're winning the Big 12, is because nobody's talking about a K-State team on a broadcast and going, what if this team ends the streak? They'll always go, look at those Big 12 standings, Iowa State right there. But nothing about K-State. So that's why.
That's fine. Let's keep plugging away. Yeah, you know what? Go get that win on Saturday, and then maybe you can start thinking that at least they're going to have a share of it. And I just think they got to go to Lawrence with the 2-game lead on KU.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it.
If you go to Lawrence 1 game up, KU's going to be out of their mind ready, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. They're going to get every call. They'll get every call.
With the West Virginia game coming on a Monday, and then that's the week that all the other teams have the bye week, so everybody catches up next week. So everything should be.
No, I think there's another week. I think
the first week of the season.
Maybe you're right.
First week of the season, there were 2 games, and then last couple weeks there's been 2 teams each, and then
there's 4 teams. You're right. There's 4 teams
next
this
week
that'll catch up because there's 2 games on Monday and a game on Tuesday and nothing on Wednesday.
But I would tell you to drop that thought process of that they can. Yeah, they can, and I understand But I'll tell you this. For the first time, I predicted K-State to win a game on the radio that I didn't exactly feel confident about them. I picked KU. I told people on the radio that they were going to lose one of the two, Baylor and Texas, because I wasn't sold yet. But the Baylor game, going into the Texas one, I kind of had that feeling. And watching them win that game against Texas told me that they can win a lot of games, and you should really start buying into it, because honestly, it feels like they should have lost that one. It just didn't feel like a game they should have been winning, a game they should have won, but they got it done. I would say you're all in on them at this point and expect them to win almost every game, you know?
From Canelio, give me your predictions on how we finish our last 7 regular season games.
Anybody have the schedule in front of them?
No, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Why would I have that?
Well, you know, we do cover K-State. Maybe we should know that.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Hey, well, let's take the immediate future while I'm pulling this up.
We'll go Iowa State here.
Iowa State here. It's huge, guys. It's absolutely enormous. They put themselves in an incredible position on Saturday by winning that game.
Yeah.
Incredible. They'll not only have a 2-game lead in the loss column because KU plays host to West Virginia, right? So they're going to win that.
West Virginia beat them. No, I'm kidding. West Virginia kicked 2 kids off.
Yeah, it's just enormous. That gets you to 12 games of an 18-game schedule. That gets you to the 2/3 mark. Then you go to West Virginia. They're capable of losing that game, but West Virginia has lost even more players now, and they're just down to bare bones. If you want to be Big 12 champs, you got to go win that. Mm-hmm. Just like you needed to go win Baylor and Texas. You got to go take care of business and come home and play Oklahoma State, which looks like they've chucked it in.
Yeah, I feel bad for Boynton.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you get to 10-2 by winning Saturday, if you want to be Big 12 champs, you will be 12-2 with 4 games to play and at least a 2-game lead on your next team, and a tiebreaker over Iowa State.
And 13-5 probably locks it in. I don't think KU's going undefeated the rest of the way.
They got to go to Texas Tech.
They got to face Kansas State.
Yep. Going to lose one of those, if not both. We'll see what happens. If KU wins both of them, that's not a deal breaker. K-State can still take care of it, take care of their business, and it's just they're going to have to mess up. Let's be honest here.
It's going to take a choke.
They got Oklahoma coming in. They should win that.
I see 2 games on the schedule that remaining that I look at and go, wouldn't really be shocked if they lost, wouldn't really be too upset if they lost, you know? Because they're games that I could see them losing, and that'd be Iowa State and KU. The other games, I fully expect them to win. Yes.
At TCU? Okay.
If you're a Big 12 champion, what are they, 6th?
Yeah.
6th in the conference? Yeah. You go into the house of the 6th-place team in the conference, and you beat them.
Yep.
KU did it. I know they probably shouldn't have. Thanks, Jamie Dixon. It was a terrible coaching job. But you got to win. Conference championships, national contenders, you get those wins. Period. End of story.
Amen, brother. Amen. Well, that's it for the first half of the Powercat Podcast. That was basketball. I assume we've got rugby up next.
It's rugby sevens.
I don't know if that
World Cup is in the fall.
I was a smart ass, and it blew up on me. It completely blew up on me. We'll be back, and we are sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Stop in, say hi to Kevin and the gang. They are swell.
The Powercat Podcast continues shortly.
I'm trying to get a group text in on what everybody wants on the liquor store run, but my phone keeps autocorrecting liquor store to the fridge.
A fridge or the fridge?
The fridge. It just did it again.
Well, the Fridge is more than just a liquor store. The Fridge has over 3,000 wines in stock, the area's largest selection of spirits and craft beers. Plus, they're back-to-back winners of Beverage Dynamics Retailer of the Year.
Oh, I get it. Wow. Smartphone.
Autocorrect your next liquor store visit to the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, 1150 Westport in Manhattan. Online at fridgeliquor.com.
For more than 20 years, there's only been one reliable source for exclusive and unmatched premium K-State sports news content. It's GoPowercat.com. The tradition continues as Tim Fitzgerald, D. Scott Fritchen, and the other Go Powercat sports experts continue their relentless coverage of K-State sports. So make sure you're subscribing to the one and only Go Powercat. Hey, K-State fans, it's time to come home to GoPowercat.com. We now return to the Powercat Podcast.
And we are back on the Powercat Podcast with the second half of your questions from Wabash Station. Tim Fitzgerald, Riley Gates, Zach Carlson.
I was expecting you to say Marcus Watts. I'm not joking. I was waiting to hear Marcus Watts in my head.
Zach Carlson. Zach's more fun to say than Marcus Watts.
I agree.
Just fumble by Marcus Watts. There we go. That's it. That's right.
Damn. Fumble?
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you like? Punt return and fumble? I don't know. Dude, Fitz, gets this. We didn't really eat the cliche Texas foods that much this weekend.
Why?
We
did Whataburger.
We bounced around. We did Whataburger twice, but
I'd make the argument we did.
We did Whataburger twice, but once was because it was just kind of like, hey, like, let's just get something real quick and then get to the game, you know?
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, dude, let's go get Whataburger.
But my argument is we went to the most touristy of touristy barbecue places we could go to, which is Franklin Barbecue.
Okay, well, when I say the Texas places, I mean what we usually do when we go to Texas.
Fair enough.
Taco Cabana and Whataburger, and we did that quick, and it was done.
Did it.
But yes, we went to Franklin Barbecue.
But it was good.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I need to go back. When I went to the Salt Lick the one time, it was really cold. I mean, it was bizarre. And you kind of wait outside and we froze our yoo-hoos off. So I want to do a little, but the food was amazing. So
We waited for
Salt
2
Lick's good.
hours, and
Yeah, we waited for 2 hours. It was
totally fine.
I think a Salt Lick type of place would work in this area.
Yeah.
Kind of out in the boonies.
Wildcat Creek Road.
Wildcat Creek
Yep.
Road, on the way to the winery. A nice little barbecue place back in the trees. There's one of my dreams right there for everyone. Someone go do that.
Fitz's Barbecue.
Would name it after me. I've got a barbecue concept, but I don't think it'd work around here. So,
A lot of vinegar.
hell no.
It was a good weekend of food. We did some good things. I
And
would say.
it didn't work out, so that's nice.
I'm so mad.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Only
that
mad
over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are the Powercat Podcast. We are the gang from GoPowercat.com, and we're sponsored by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor. So when you come to town, hit the Fridge. If you're not going to the game, go to Tanner's, our first segment sponsor, and then after the game, everyone from the arena go to the high-low. Give Seth his biggest day of business ever. Post-game victory celebration at the high-low. And what do you say when you get there?
Hi-lo.
No, you say, hey, Seth, what's going on? Boy,
Hey, Fitz sent me here.
Fitz in here and told me to play Milwaukee Roulette. And guy brings out a gun. No, don't bring your guns. Milwaukee Roulette involves beer.
Bad beer.
No.
Sometimes
Undermarketed
good.
beer.
It's sometimes good. You can get a Boulevard Wheat.
Undermarketed.
Oh, so get on down to Aggieville. Get to Aggieville, folks. Come on, man. Get down there. Or downtown. Whatever works for you. Whatever fits your taste. We're a downtown business now, so we're going to say, hey, come downtown. Or Aggieville.
From
Questions from all best station.
Zach was not
let's
waiting.
start. From Mountain Joe, do you like Kleiman's approach to recruiting? He appears to be offering anybody.
Well, look, it's easy to offer. This is a common approach. Offer, and then you don't really follow up. You know, you go out and offer and see if the kid's really interested. He's got 50 offers, and in his mind, he immediately gets it to 10 or something like that. And then immediately he's going, well, I'm going here on a visit. I'm going here on a visit. Now, one of the kids said, I got to figure out a visit to Kansas State. Good sign. I think they're going to be more dynamic in recruiting. I think they're going to sell the product a lot more aggressively than what we've seen in the past. So what the hell? Give it a try. Maybe they have to work it down a little bit. But I think what they're looking at here is sweep the state of Kansas as best you can, and then get out there and knock some home runs out of the park with some big-time signees, 4 or 5-star guys. 5-star might be much. 4-star guys, high 3-star guys. They're going to be fearless. Maybe they'll learn some lessons out there like, okay, we're not there yet. We can't get these kids. But I think they'll be back knocking on those doors 3 years down the road when, they've been really winning a lot of football games, if they do.
I agree with all that. It's just, to me, it's a little too early to say if I like it or don't. Because, it's the Bruce Weber approach of recruiting. You cast the net, go after the big guys, and hope you land one of them. But the problem that we have sometimes with Bruce doing it is he doesn't really get those guys that, the big guys that he chases after. They're always after off to the bigger schools, and you kind of question, maybe you should have focused your time and energy on guys you actually had a better chance of signing. So,
see, I think it's different with football and basketball because basketball, you got 3 scholarships.
That too, yeah.
Football, you can go take some chances out there.
Now, if they start offering just a stupid amount of guys and they never have any interest, then it's going to get annoying. Because, Wally's posting 13 times on the boards every day, and I'm just like, good God, they can't sign all these guys.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach. We're going to see them get in on some kids that you scratch your head a little bit, but they see him at a different position, and we don't know what they're seeing.
From Mountain Joe again, what is our biggest need, be it offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, etc.
For next season?
Like the 2019 year or the recruiting cycle?
I haven't looked at that. I could sit here and guess. I mean, Wally would be better at that. I think the biggest need, honestly, isn't position group. It's establishing you're the one to beat in the state of Kansas. You can't lose kids to Kansas in the state of Kansas. It's a huge year in the metro area in the state of Kansas. You need to get 90% of those guys. There's going to be some guys that want to go there because they can play immediately. It's great. Go play for a bad team. Go buy into the dream that so kids actually see it happen of turning around a program. Buy into that. That's fine. Good luck. These kids are going to come to Kansas State and probably win, and I think they're going to do well. So when we talk about position groups, man, I think probably linebackers out there, they really want to stock up on, tight end. Tight end's a huge need. I mean, they need to go find a couple tight ends that really fit what they want. So I think it's just across the board. They've got needs all over the place, and they got to continue to upgrade that secondary.
From GT Cat, how likely do you think it is that Coach Kleiman has this team on the other side of the 50 in terms of national team recruiting ranking?
Ooh, I don't want to say it's too tough to attain. It's not. I just think I think it's going to take some time to get there. A lot of it depends on that 2020 class. I think if they land the right guys, they get there. So how likely is it going to be that it happens? I would say you have a strong way better chance of doing it with this recruiting staff and these efforts than you probably have in the last 5 years.
I'm going to be really, really, really honest here. The chances are improved because we're on 24/7 sports. What I mean here is Rivals didn't give a flying crap about kids in Kansas. They really didn't. Unless it was a Bryce Brown or Arthur Brown or someone, they just didn't care about them. The guy that covered Kansas recruiting lives in Michigan, never really saw him. Kansas was an afterthought. They just weren't invested in it. And the guy who actually runs Rivals recruiting really had an I don't know what it was. He just had a hard on for things. And now they're putting up fake profiles. So that's good. That's solid for him. Look, we're covering recruiting now in the state of Kansas for a network that honestly covered Kansas. It's amazing. They did a better job covering Kansas without a K-State site than Rivals did with a K-State site that was one of their founding websites. Figured that out. But now they're going to be in here. Gabe Brooks, our recruiting expert out of the Dallas area, is going to be up in Kansas some. He's going to be coming to things. And I think there's going to be more exposure for these recruits and thus able to measure them better against the Texas kids. So I think you're going to see the star level rise. Maybe not move from 3 to 4, but certainly within the 3-star rankings, you're going to see guys become higher 3 stars. K-State's benefited. It's been, wow, look what Bill Snyder's doing with these low-rated kids. Well, they were low-rated because nobody gave guys like Cody Whitehair a good look. Nobody really looked at him, and he was an NFL guy coming out of high school. When I went to 5-Star Challenge, I looked at those kids and said Cody Whitehair was every bit as good as these kids, but nobody looked at him because they were the state of Kansas. So I think it's going to improve. I think they're going to swing for more fences. They're going to get some better kids. I think their sales pitch is going to be more refined and aggressive than what we've seen.
From Add to Cartcat, what do you anticipate the level of access you will be given to Coach Kleiman and his assistant coaches and players from now through the beginning of spring practice?
I'm not sure. I'll ask when I'm at the team meeting.
And
I didn't get that for a second.
And do you anticipate the same access to Chris Kleiman, coaches and players through spring practice?
I think it's going to be much better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll talk to him before spring practice just because there's not.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have anything
It's not a lot to talk
until
about.
spring practice is ready to open. I expect us to have something with Buddy Wyatt.
I would hope.
So we've got to write a feature on him, so it'd be helpful. I've asked for that, by the way, as I share meeting information here on the podcast.
Hey, thanks.
Scoop.
It's Scoop. We're going to talk to a coach.
So much for that exclusive interview.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that. I think it'll be for everyone. It's going to be a lot better. We're going to have assistant coaches. You've already seen as customers the benefit of us getting. It isn't just rhetoric. We've been covering the crap out of things. We've got so many different angles now that we can talk about. And I'm telling you what, we've got content backing up in the hopper because we're putting up, on average lately, we've been putting up 10 stories a day, 10 content items a day between Zach's videos and the other stuff.
Stupid big.
Look, if you're not a subscriber, come over and enjoy the free stuff. There's tons of it. If you're a subscriber, you're getting more VIP stuff than you probably were before. There's just a lot more stuff in general. So that's the benefit of getting more information, more access. And all of that will continue to come from us. We're not mailing it in, folks. We're doubling down. And I'm looking forward to being able to talk to assistant coaches because it benefits you, the K-State fan. More than us, it's about you guys.
From Cheeseburger Satan, I don't feel as if I knew the previous coaches very well. Is this a product of information / access given to you guys, or my excitement level of having something shiny and new?
Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
It was unfortunate because of Coach Snyder's policies. You didn't learn the coaches. We talked to Bob Stoops when he was here. We talked to, all of those young upcoming coaches. Ron Hudson was the offensive coordinator. We talked to him. People knew those coaches back then. And then after Coach Snyder cut off the assistant coaches in 2005, you just didn't really get it, and it's a shame. It was a byproduct of it. Honestly, the only assistant coach he ever talked about was his own son.
Yeah. And then it influences your opinion on coaches because, then you're only judging them on what you see on the field. Dana Dimmel had struggles with his offense. Well, if he could have spoken to us about what's going wrong with the offense, maybe the fans could have had a little bit better idea what Dana was thinking on play X.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys just haven't had the opportunity to get to know them. And also it just kind of feels like, when you have Blake Seiler, you have Colin Klein, you have Andre Coleman. Well, we know those guys. Yeah.
Exactly.
Last question of the second half from Purple Powerhouse. I was wondering a little bit about Kleiman's upcoming speaking stops. What's the context here, and is he just trying to connect with fans and donors?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what, Dallas and was it Oklahoma?
Wichita.
I've got to be honest, I haven't seen this.
It was a press release, kind of got buried Friday, I think, maybe. I forget when it
was
came
sometime
out.
last week.
Yeah.
Wow, how did I miss out on this?
Just a lot of information that we had on the site and things like that kind of got buried. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, 4 stops over 2 days, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be on the road a lot. Get connected with, like you said, boosters, alumni, get his name out there. Probably, I guess if you're in the area, you could have a kid come in and listen to the speech. Maybe.
Yep, you can.
I'm
they
just
want to show up.
Just kind of floating things out there. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, at the end of the day, it is. Yeah, just getting that name familiar out there because I'm sure he'll be on the Catbacker tour a lot, but you don't necessarily want him on every single one because that's just a lot of
And
stuff to do.
you got some awesome assistant coaches that fans can get exposed to. I hope they send, 2 football coaches to every stop this year. They really should. They should send out more coaches because the head coach will trust them to talk to fans and say things, and I think people are going to really like this staff. I think anytime you get your head coach out on the road in front of fans, I love the fact he's going out of state. That's cool, man. If you're in the Dallas Metroplex, and I would find a way to be at that event. I really would. So we'll see. Once you meet Chris Kleiman, you meet his coaches, you buy in even more. I really do. I know the student body bought in at halftime of the KU game when he gave that speech. Wow. It was
incredible.
It really was. And I think the students upped their intensity in the second half. And not just because it was the second half. I think they bought into him and they wanted to win the dang day, and they did. So it's fun. It's a lot of things coming from GoPowercat.com. We're plugging away on the studio, a little bit more on that as I slowly lose my grip on sanity. But we're getting there, slowly. And I can't wait to unveil some of this content and some of the things we'll be able to do with the studio. This is the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by The Fridge. That segment is brought to you by the High Low. Make sure you stop in those places. When you're in Manhattan, get your butts here on Saturday for Kansas State and Iowa State. We'll be back right after this with a very entertaining overtime. I predict it will be good.
The gang will return with more of the Powercat Podcast.
I'm trying to get a group text in on what everybody wants on the liquor store run, but my phone keeps autocorrecting liquor store to the fridge.
A fridge or the fridge?
The fridge. It just did it again.
Well, the Fridge is more than just a liquor store. The Fridge has over 3,000 wines in stock, the area's largest selection of spirits and craft beers. Plus, they're back-to-back winners of Beverage Dynamics Retailer of the Year.
Oh, I get it. Wow. Smartphone.
Autocorrect your next liquor store visit to the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, 1150 Westport in Manhattan. Online at fridgeliquor.com.
For more than 20 years, there's only been one reliable source for exclusive and unmatched premium K-State sports news content. It's GoPowercat.com. The tradition continues as Tim Fitzgerald, D. Scott Fritchen, and the other Go Powercat sports experts continue their relentless coverage of K-State sports. So make sure you're subscribing to the one and only Go Powercat. Hey, K-State fans, it's time to come home to GoPowercat.com. Back to Fitz on the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
And welcome back to the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. They're awesome. They're fantastic. And this is the overtime. The first two halves are in the back pocket, so to speak, and now we're moving on to the overtime. The boys had an enjoyable trip, as mentioned, down to Texas. I don't think they're Facebook official, but, they're getting there. They're getting there. 4 nights. How were 4 nights in a hotel room with each other?
Well, we were pretty dead after Baylor.
It was kind of whatever. Our hotel didn't have a fitness center.
Look, the hotel was nice, except for the
I would have
fact
never stayed there.
there was no fitness center. The Denny's next door was getting gutted. Meanwhile, while the hotel itself was having construction, and so we just heard the whole time.
Okay, well, that's cool. I'm glad I got it.
We're pretty sure the Denny's was open on Saturday.
Yeah.
We came back after the Baylor game, and we wake up Sunday morning, and they're just gutting the thing.
It's gone.
It's
the booths are gone. The tables are gone. It was the weirdest 12-hour turnaround I've ever seen in my life.
Who knows? Maybe a fraternity had a drunken outing to their Saturday night, and they needed to start over.
It was fine. Nice hotel. Zach and I got along well. I had the desk. I didn't sleep on Tuesday night.
That's fun. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of fun. I remember Fritz and I covering I think it was a football game at West Virginia. It was a football game at West Virginia. And you don't know. You got to plan your travel, and then they set the kickoff time for 7 p.m. And so we work in the press box. We drive back to the hotel in Pittsburgh, so that's 90 minutes. And we get there, and we have more work to do. I think I got in an hour of sleep. Fritz pulled an all-nighter before we went to the it's like we should have just checked out of the hotel when we went to the game.
Yeah.
And not paid for the second night because we were literally in our room for like an hour and a half.
That was us this year in West Virginia, too.
Yeah. It's just, it's a mess. It's fun. But nobody had more fun on the trip than Bruce Weber. He got a couple of wins. And he had the greatest analogy for his defense in the first half against Texas. And it is the first edition of Bruce After Dark.
When you go to school and you got the traffic guard lady and she's got her little band on, and we just stood there like this letting kids go by us.
It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It's let's be honest. What makes it so awesome is his voice. That's how he explains it.
My favorite part is that if you take it literally, that's a very good analogy by him. Like, I understand what he's getting at. The best part, though, is the sash, where he mentions the badge over her chest, completely irrelevant to the analogy. No way is that a relevant point.
And he's signaling it all out, the sash, man. Oh, good.
It was incredible. Well done, Bruce.
Well, that sets the tone for Bruce After Dark is now the sponsor of the overtime, I guess.
Goodness. I've created a movement.
We're just going to play Bruce out of context quotes as our sponsor.
So here we go. It is the overtime. We are sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Get in there. You're coming in for the game on Saturday. You need some booze. We got the place for you. It's called the Fridge. Here we go. Zach Carlson.
From Purple Cheese, is the Irwin Center the worst Big 12 basketball venue? It looks half empty on TV every time we play there.
No. It's one of the best in terms of the venue. Well, okay, are you talking about the...
It's one of the arenas in the Big 12.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if you had fans in there, it'd be the best. I don't think that should dictate what is a good arena, though.
Yeah, for an overall environment, it stinks.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's getting a little dated. I don't like big circle arenas, and it is.
It's huge.
It's huge. It was designed more for concerts, and they have huge concerts in there. They have big name. I think they will still use it at times for that.
But I talked to Wagcat down there, and he said concerts in there are awful. He said
really?
the acoustics are terrible.
Oh, that's great. Maybe they won't use it. I know that my friend, my close buddy Matthew McConaughey, is
that's Minister of Culture Matthew McConaughey.
Hey, we will get there.
Is excited about the concerts that are going to be coming into the new arena, of which he is an investor. So I'm happy for him. Seems like he's doing okay with his money.
Look, if
since he moved to Mulvane.
Just doing.
He's fine.
Okay. All right. I think he's doing all right.
If Texas had a good basketball team, that would be one of the best arenas in the Big 12. And even though they don't have a good basketball team, I would still put it in the top. It pushes for the top 5.
Really? I mean, okay, I'll take.
Waco's the worst.
Yes.
I guess I haven't been to Texas Tech and I haven't been to West Virginia, so the poll is kind of tough for me to judge.
Texas Tech, I've never actually been there, but it's a nice new arena.
Okay.
And I'm sure the environment is good too. West Virginia is very dated, but it's kind of like the rest of West Virginia. It's out of date, but adequate. Gets the job done.
Lloyd Noble sucks.
So
I would say that Lloyd Noble and Baylor are the bottom 2 for sure. We'll put West Virginia.
TCU arena
at 8
is pleasant now that they've renovated it. It was the worst by far.
Court loses points.
Yeah, the court's weird.
I would probably put Texas around 6 or 7, pushing for that 5 spot.
Yeah. Okay.
It's mid-table.
I
It's
enjoyed
not the
it.
best, not the worst.
Personally, it was amazing for media, except for the Wi-Fi sucking.
That's a good setup for media because
But
everything's right there.
The tunnel underneath is super long and super narrow. It's weird.
and super confusing. Like you lose perspective of where you are.
Yeah.
There's only
Like
2 court entrances.
I'm at the tunnel where you can bring stuff in, and now I'm over here, and somehow I magically got to the other end of the arena in 12 steps.
It's confusing.
It's very it's a weird. It's like Austin. It's weird. Okay, here we go.
From KSU Man, is that the most dunks we ever had in a game?
It has to be.
It has to be.
What's
shout
into
out to
this
the
team?
poster who put all the GIFs together, the dunks. Dean Wade had 12 points, right? He scored 6 points on dunks.
Dude, honestly, I don't forget. So sorry for whoever made the post, but that's a very good point. This team is dunking at an insane amount. They never did that.
There was one of those dunks by Dean. He would have never dunked before. He caught the ball halfway down the lane in traffic, and he went ahead and dunked it. And McCall just go dunk everything he can because
That's the only way he's going to be for sure to make the shot.
Jeez.
But that's got to be the record for dunks. And I'm going to be sad if they become a non-dunking team when all these guys graduate.
Sad.
From JHam79, how in the hell do we get scheduled for 3 Monday games in consecutive weeks?
Probably a computer thing. Nobody shafted K-State on it, intentionally, probably.
I don't mind it. I kind of like it. Now,
You have 5 days of rest.
Yeah, the problem is the Big 12 in the past has actually made K-State play 2 road games in there or go to West Virginia. That's a bad trip. I mean, you play Saturday. The last time they did this, it seems like they played Saturday and then they flew to West Virginia. So,
Yeah, Zach got they said, what is it, the team's leaving right after Iowa State?
Yeah, they're going to leave Saturday night. So
you have to.
Quick post-game press conference.
Well, I mean, I think they would have flown Sunday, but something's happening in the arena, like Sunday night or something that's being used, so they couldn't practice until they had to practice early Sunday or something. So they're going down Saturday night.
Like in the West Virginia arena?
Yeah.
Huh.
I haven't looked it up. I could look it up, but
Morgantown Moonshine Fest.
some
Come
sort
on
of
down
conflict.
to the WVU Coliseum and we'll be making moonshine. Sorry, that was offensive to our West Virginia listeners.
Can we talk about how lazy of a naming that is? What should we name the basketball place? Well, I mean, Coliseum is a rather common name in basketball arenas. Okay, what goes in front of it though? We can't just call it Coliseum. West Virginia. Well, no, that's going to be a little bit too clumpy.
Clumpy.
Why don't we go short? Let's just call it WVU Coliseum.
It's better with the accent.
Want to know what they did for 36 years at K-State?
KSU Stadium.
Yeah.
I know, and it was lazy.
Well, it fit the stadium. Does anyone really call it KSU? Not really. No, everyone calls it K-State.
From Adam K63, Fitz, did you do the interview with Coach Riley instead of having Riley Gates do it so there wouldn't be too many Rileys attached to one story?
I am anti-Riley, and yes, that is exactly what happened.
I did speak to Connor Riley.
I enjoyed that. You know what? We realized afterwards that was like the first half of a future Power Chat episode. Him and I just talking about all kinds of stuff. And I almost wish we had it on a sit-down video because I think the context of what he says, when you type stuff up, it kind of loses some of the translation. And we had a great conversation. It was really good. So he will be on the Power Chat list when we get the studio built in 2027.
Hey,
Oh,
we're
it's
really
closer
close.
than that.
We're really close.
Guys, I know. I see. You saw the breakthrough because you left and it was a shell, and you came back, and it looks like a studio. But there's so much work to be done. Toby, our hired hand, will be back in this afternoon to work on it.
We could put the couches together and chair together and throw a camera back there, and you wouldn't really be able to tell.
No, not. He's going to be doing the electrical outlets and getting all that set up and getting the sound foam up.
Sound foam.
We're making moves.
Making moves. Got to get the curtains up so we have some privacy from the street. It's going to be nice.
From BK Big Fish 81.
Love it.
Welcome.
Hold on. Is that Burger King Big Fish?
Brad Korn.
Brad Korn.
Okay.
Hello.
Thanks, Brad. Welcome to the podcast.
Wife made me go. His wife made him go to Umi 2 weeks in a row. If you were a hibachi chef, what would your signature move be?
Hold on. Your wife made you go to Umi? Like you're upset that you got to go to Umi?
He did use the word made.
What the heck?
I'm not into
I love Umis.
I'm not into this. Look, I'm not into flair bartending or flair chefing. And that's essentially what hibachi chefs are.
What?
Chop, 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 flip it in the air. Put the food in front of me and feed my face. Put the drink in front of me, let me drink it. Don't be flaring around with this crap. Get your business done and let me get my business started. That's
All
where
right.
I'm at. But I would flip the shrimp into people's mouths.
Don't worry. I'll get off your lawn.
Let me be clear. I would not go to a restaurant to eat the type of food that is served to me at a Japanese restaurant. Like, I would not do that without the show. The show makes me eat it.
That's a valid point.
You know,
it's all marketing for them. Yeah, I'm with that.
Umi's is incredible. Like, it's honestly one of the. If it wasn't so expensive, I'd eat there a lot more.
I'm not into the whole shtick.
But
and it's not them. It's the whole industry of the flair.
You don't
chefing.
like the little boy peeing on the food? The butter thing? I don't know what.
I don't
the
know.
oil?
I
You know
don't
what
think
I'm
that's
talking
at Umi's.
They don't have that at Umi?
No.
Okay.
No, my signature move though would be the one where he takes the spatula and he's kind of like bouncing the egg on it. He's like, oh, and then he catches it on the bladed part of the egg, so it cracks the egg, and the egg just kind of comes sliding out, and then it goes onto the grill.
Wow, that's pretty slick.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's good. Just crack the damn egg and get it on the grill. I probably would do something like set an apple on one of the customers' heads and throw a knife at it.
That's not hibachi at all.
That's just an angry chef.
That's just you throwing a weapon at someone.
Or an onion volcano? That's probably
The onion
what I'd do.
volcano is awesome. Incredible.
Yeah, I'm not as up to date on this. I've eaten there once, and
Okay, if you've eaten at a Japanese restaurant, though, it's all the
You
same.
know what the
I
onion
hadn't eaten at
volcano
a
is?
Japanese restaurant since the 80s until I went
Since
there.
the war.
Since the
Since
war.
NAM.
Man, I hate those places. Just hate it. Just serve me the food. And if I'm in a bar and you start flair bartending and it takes more than 10 seconds, like if you want to flip a bottle, okay, get in a position to pour, cool. But if you start putting on a show, I'm going to throw my glass at you. Here's flair customering, and just hit him with a glass.
Make sure you don't end up on Fitz's lawn either.
Exactly.
Good Lord.
From Wildcat Engineer, what different concessions would you add to Bramlage?
Shot chair.
I don't know what the
You know,
I don't know what the concessions are.
yeah. We don't. I eat hot dogs once in a while when I don't want to eat the medium meal.
They did used to have an icy machine there.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Was it Coke and cherry?
Pepsi. Cherry.
Pepsi and cherry, yeah. Duh. That was stupid. But yeah, that's because I'm a big icy guy, as Zach found out when we went to Buc-ee's, the best gas station.
I've
in the
never
world.
been to one. I'm so excited. I got to do it.
Yeah, you do.
Like, if we could spend an hour in a Buc-ee's.
I spent
We
$24 at Buc-ee's.
What, did you buy any?
In fairness, I bought a lot of bangs. So like,
Okay, well that racks up.
But I bought bangs, and then I bought a slushie, and
That's
then
an
I
energy
bought
drink, folks.
a
Not
hot
what
dog.
you might think it is.
Then I bought a hot dog, and it's not a gas station hot dog like you think.
Really?
I mean, it's a good hot dog.
Well, all hot dogs are good. Unless you've overcooked it. I mean, it's hard to screw it up.
But I would add back the icy machine.
Okay. I'd probably have like Chick-fil-A chicken strips or something.
Instead of the sandwiches that they serve now.
Is that what they serve?
I think they do serve Chick-fil-A.
But what you got to understand about Buc-ee's Fitz is that the hot dog is not just, I didn't just take it off a roller and put it in a bun. They have a station with probably 10 little monitors, would you say, where you can order, and you can order everything. You can order a barbecue sandwich. You can order a cheeseburger. You can order a ham sandwich. You can order a hot dog. You can order tacos. I mean, this is not your normal gas station.
So there's like a kitchen window that
Yeah.
you get your food from?
Yeah.
more than a window.
But it's more than
It's
a
like-
window.
So
like
this
the
is
entire, like,
basically this
butcher
is
shelf.
the fast food industry. What it's going to become.
Yeah.
I don't
In
know.
Yeah.
terms of monitors, yes.
Oh, that.
But the
Okay, yeah, I
monitors is
understand,
just
yeah.
an easy way to order.
Yeah.
But it's quality food. Like, it's not gas station food. It is quality food. A lot of people go there and get barbecue, like meats, and they will take them home. They make their own beef jerky.
Wow.
This is not a gas station. This is heaven.
It's like if Walmart was a gas station, but
better.
Better.
Okay. Yeah.
It's incredible.
I don't know.
I can't believe you've
Concessions,
never been to a Buc-ee's.
I
Gone to
just-
Texas God knows how many times.
They're intimidating, man.
They are. They are very intimidating.
Pull up and they're like, "There's 100 gas pumps. Where do I go?"
Where do I park? It's very scary.
From AZCat05. So, what exactly is the job description for Minister of Culture?
I think it's just a way to make him sound more official so that he can be sitting on the bench. I wonder if it's not an official job. Here's why. Now, I'm dead serious about it. Did they pay him like $1 or something? He is in photos with recruits. That is a violation. A clear violation. You can't have an alumni interacting in that manner with your recruits. A booster with recruits.
But if he's an employee, he could.
Right. If he's actually the minister of culture and gets paid $1, I bet you he could.
Oh, I'm sure it's
Which
an
would be an
official
incredibly
position.
Texas thing to do.
Yeah, of course it's an official position. I don't think they just say it.
Well, I do.
Because if they just say it to get him on the bench, then they just let him sit on the bench.
And folks, let me clarify something. You don't go buy that burnt orange suit. You have it tailored. You're Matthew freaking McConaughey. Someone made that for him.
Say what you want. That's a badass suit.
He's a badass.
He is. I mean, what is the minister of culture? I don't know what the job.
But let me say
titles.
this. That just strikes me as another distraction for Texas athletes. Another distraction. You got the Longhorn Network constantly needing stuff from you. And now you got Matthew McConaughey hanging around and kind of sucking the life, getting all the attention. You know, Wagcat put up that, they threw the in-house camera on him about a dozen times. Should you be covering the basketball game? I don't know. It just seems like it's typical Texas. Got more fluff than substance. And again, Bruce summed it up. They're the best 14-11 team in the country. They're 14-11 and 6-6. So
That was a stupid comment. I'm sorry.
they're pretty good, but that's my point. They are playing below their talent.
They're probably the only 14-11, 6-6 team in the country.
That's true. That's probably true. But I think the point is they have more talent than their record reflects. Well,
Yes.
That goes back to the fact that the players aren't focused and the coach isn't very good.
Shaka Smart is terrible. How is he still employed?
Okay. Does anyone ask about the Shaka Smart huddle?
No, I don't think anybody asked about it.
Okay, look. I have really no problem with him saying you're better than the other team. Right. That's what you tell your team in a huddle.
Absolutely.
But not to respect them? You know what? They played like they didn't respect them. They played like they thought they were better than them and didn't need to try. Because that's what their coach told them.
In fairness to Shaka Smart, he said don't over-respect them. Those are two different things.
Look, did you notice both times they put the camera into the huddle? It was all touchy-feely stuff. No X's and O's. It was all mental coaching. Absolutely no X's and O's on display. It was all about emotions. I think that could get him in trouble with his because they don't look fully prepared to play, and I'm not sure Shaka Smart actually knows basketball that well.
I just thought people blew that up way too much.
I agree. Look, you tell your team you're better than the opponent.
Of course you do. People told us that all the time when we weren't in high school. Like, that's what you tell a team. And of course, no, I know what you're saying by the whole don't over-respect them is not a great comment. But also I agree with them.
They seem to play half-ass after that we're better than this
that's
team.
Texas.
Oh, well, that's true.
But I think the don't over-respect them, I'm okay with that too, because if you have your team over-respecting their opponent, you're afraid of them. Don't put them like that.
There's no reason they should be afraid of K-State because they beat them by 20.
Yeah, and that's my other thing.
I thought it was just kind of silly.
He's totally okay to say that they're better. They beat them once.
Yeah, I just thought, Shaka, maybe get out a clipboard and show them how to run a play or something. Do some coaching.
Not great.
From CatStat88, what is your favorite travel destination?
Ever? I mean, the whole world?
No other qualifiers.
Well, I don't know. Probably one I haven't been to.
Wow. Let's just go with the ones that you've been to, obviously.
Well, I think we all know mine.
Salina, Kansas?
Yeah, that's it.
No.
I mean, I would go to Las Vegas twice a year if I had the time and the money to do it.
I think I'd like to go. I mean, if I could have enjoyed Las Vegas when I was there, that would probably be number one because it's just the type of place I really like. It's really cool to me. But I will also say Chicago. I would go to Chicago every year if I could.
If you went to Vegas 2 times a year, you might be able to make enough money.
You might be able to afford to go to Vegas.
Afford to go to Vegas.
I'm not, that's what's interesting. I'm not really a gambler. I'll play a little blackjack, but I don't really gamble. I don't gamble in sports. I probably should learn how to play craps or something, but I find it just too complicated and too much going on. It just overloads my senses. I play blackjack because it's simple math, and you can calculate up chances in your head and kind of fake count cards and know what's been out on the table, and and I'm pretty good at it. And I usually make some money on the long run over that. So I'll do that, but I really don't spend hours and hours at the table. I would go twice a year. In the winter, I would go on a trip and go see shows and concerts and eat, that kind of thing. And then the spring, summer, I'd go to pools and party and hit a VIP room some night. Do that trip. 2 different trips. The third trip is just go do touristy things. And if you've been to Vegas and you've never been to the Mob Museum, I'm telling you got to do that. The Neon Museum of all the old neon, you got to do that. There's so much cool stuff in Vegas. There's going to be football
soon.
You know what's interesting about this whole football thing with the Raiders? Why aren't they talking to UNLV about just playing the next season in their stadium?
Right.
Have they not picked a place
No,
yet?
They're apparently getting close to going back to their stadium.
I know the Giants stadium came up as a possibility.
The 49ers shot it down because they have rights on the market.
Oh, that's true.
So the craziest one that's come up now are Tucson, Arizona, and Birmingham, Alabama have combined a bid to host 4 games apiece. Maybe 5 games with non-conference preseason. Yeah, weird.
Why not move them to London for a year?
That's
Make
been
this
talked,
the trial year, trial run.
That's really what they should do with the Raiders is say, look, we want you. You're not going to have a home field. You're going to play 2 games in London, play 2 games in Mexico City. You're going to go play. I don't know if there's a place in San Juan to play. I don't know if there's an adequate place in what else? What other cities? Portland? I don't think there probably is. Any kind of market out there that might want an NFL team. Send them to Toronto, Montreal. Just let them go play their home games as a road team. Pay them to do it. I don't know. That's just thought. We'll see what happens with them. It's the Raiders, and I don't care. They can suffer.
Last question from AZCat05. Did Mrs. Fitz get anything for Valentine's Day?
No, because I'm doing a podcast. And we're going to a show at McCain tonight.
What show is it?
Postmodern Jukebox, which is on my bucket list of concerts. It's a band out of Chicago. They were a YouTube sensation, and it became a full-fledged thing. Now they tour the world. That covers pop music as genre music, like from the 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever.
That's interesting.
Like, if you go search YouTube for Postmodern Jukebox and the song Creep, it's amazing. Haley Reinhardt, a former American Idol person, who I hope is here. I'm not sure. She's kind of blown up on her own right now because of what she's done with them. But just cool music. I mean, Oops, I Did It Again. They cover that as a
nice,
like a nightclub torch song. Yeah,
nice.
It's pretty cool.
Nightclub what?
Torch.
Torch?
Yeah.
Can you describe it?
Like a sexy, female singer.
Okay.
Real slow, sexy thing going on.
All right.
Just go on YouTube.
I'll have to look it up.
Get on YouTube. But anyhow, yeah, and I'm telling you, I've got a very special high five planned for her later. Huh? It's going to be not your normal high five. It's going to be a Valentine's Day high five. Uh-huh. That's how we've been married this long. We're coming up on 30 years. This poor freaking woman. That's it for the podcast, right? We're done now?
That's it. Theme.
I don't know why she stays married to me. She can't dump me now. It'd look horrible to dump me now. It would.
You got cancer.
I would. I'm telling you what. I can get away with anything right now. I could be a crappy husband. She can't dump me.
I don't think it works like that.
She dumps me. Oh, you dumped her with cancer. You're cruel. She's so stuck with me. Love you, honey. You don't listen to this. Someone tell her I love her. I don't do that. That's beneath me.
Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.